Before people feared being wrong, they feared being alone. Long before laws, long before institutions, long before nations, human beings depended on something simpler: the group. To be separated from it was often dangerous, sometimes fatal. For thousands of years, survival depended on belonging, and survival leaves deep marks, some so deep they continue operating long after the original danger has disappeared, which raises an uncomfortable possibility. What if many of our decisions are not driven by what we believe? What if they are driven by what helps us remain accepted? Most people think of belonging as a social experience: friendship, family, community, shared identity, and it is all of those things. But belonging is also something older, something woven deeply into human behavior: the need to remain connected, to remain included, to avoid exclusion, because exclusion once carried consequences that few modern people ever experience. The ancient mind learned a lesson: stay close to the group, stay inside the circle, and that lesson survived. The world changed. Cities emerged. Empires rose and fell. Technology transformed daily life. Yet something remained remarkably consistent. People still watch each other, still seek approval, still fear rejection, still adjust their behavior to avoid standing alone, often without realizing it. Not because they are dishonest, not because they are weak, because belonging exerts a quiet pressure, and quiet pressures can shape entire lives. This becomes especially powerful when identity and belonging merge. A belief is no longer just a belief. It becomes a membership card, a symbol of loyalty, a signal to others. Questioning the belief can then feel like questioning the group itself, and questioning the group can feel like risking separation. At that point, the discussion is no longer about truth. It becomes about connection, and connection is difficult to surrender. Throughout history, many enduring structures have relied on this principle, not necessarily through force, not necessarily through punishment, but through belonging, the reward of inclusion, the fear of exclusion, the comfort of certainty, the safety of agreement. People often imagine power as something imposed from above. Yet some of the strongest forms of influence spread horizontally, through families, through communities, through peers, through the invisible desire to remain part of something larger than oneself. This is why entire groups can defend ideas they privately doubt, why people sometimes remain silent when they disagree, why obvious questions go unasked, why certain assumptions survive for generations. The cost of challenging them is not always punishment. Sometimes it is isolation. And for social creatures, isolation can feel surprisingly expensive. Even when no one says a word, even when no threat is spoken, the possibility alone can shape behavior. The strange part is that belonging itself is not the problem. Human beings need connection, need community, need shared meaning. Civilizations could not exist without it. The problem appears when belonging becomes more important than reality, when acceptance becomes more valuable than truth, when loyalty becomes more important than understanding. At that point, a person may stop asking what is accurate and begin asking something else. What am I allowed to say? What am I allowed to question? What am I allowed to notice? Many of the oldest structures survive here, in the space between observation and expression, between private thought and public agreement, because people rarely need to be forced to remain inside a boundary. Often they maintain it themselves. The boundary becomes internal, the guard moves inward, and eventually, the limits feel natural, as though they were always there, as though no alternative ever existed. Most people assume freedom begins when external control disappears. But there may be another kind of freedom, a quieter one, the freedom to see something, even when others do not, the freedom to ask a question, even when no one wants it asked, the freedom to stand apart, without immediately needing to stand against. Because sometimes the strongest structures are not maintained by force. They are maintained by the simple human desire to belong. If this felt familiar, subscribe. This channel is about seeing the structures that continue operating long after they become invisible. And if something became visible, continue here.